welcome. Happy Monday morning to you. I am out doing what I want to do. I was up in the middle of the night trying to hear wisdom. What should I do today, I said. The voice in the middle of the night seemed to say, do what I want to do. Sorry, I'm walking away to my brush. Okay, my back. What I want to do. Yesterday I was out driving in the country of North Carolina, my wife and I, and we passed many trees. Let me show you again the tree that I'm looking at. We passed many trees roughly like this. Big, old oak trees with their winter leaves on. The leaves in the oak trees in this part of the country keep most of their leaves through the winter and drop them all in the spring. This tree looks like it's about half and half. And I'm standing, had a delightful chat with the resident of this house, and get this property, this house, that was the kitchen, slave quarters, literally over there. This building, he told me, that was a chicken coop and a smokehouse. Here's where the doctor lived, and the property was deeded to the original owner here in the United States, before it was the United States, by the King of England, before the Revolutionary War. So how's that for a little fun, rich history? I'm standing outside a house that is over 250 years old. Okay, now some of you don't know who I am. Hi, I'm Dan. Welcome for joining me. So just yesterday, driving around, put in the mood to paint a tree. Most of you, maybe, if you follow me, you know I don't usually do nature scenes. I paint mostly cityscapes, and I will continue to paint mostly cityscapes. I do that because I love the interplay of organic shapes like trees, cars, people, those are all organic, with straight lines like architecture. So I do a lot of cityscapes and houses. But today I doubt that I might change my mind, but I doubt that I'm even going to include the house in this. I'm just doing a tree. Now, there's several reasons that I just want to do a tree. Now, I'm going to put the trunk right in the middle. I don't think so. Several reasons I want to do a tree. One is because they're just so amazing and beautiful. That's a good enough reason. Also because I want practice rendering a tree. I need to practice trees, so this is what we call a study, of course. And part of the reason also is I want to teach you guys a little bit about, while I'm learning about trees, I want to paint trees. Now, let's talk about trees a little bit, shall we? Anybody thinks they're easy is not an artist, or they're a really bad artist. Trees are not easy. A believable tree is a challenge. Let me point you back to the tree again, tell you what some of the challenges are. Okay? One of the most difficult, in fact, I'd probably say the most difficult thing to do when you're trying to paint a tree, and I'm going to move you around while I talk. The most difficult thing to do is to try to capture what I'm showing you right now, the utter three-dimensionality of the tree. These branches, some of these you can see right here, like this one right here that we're looking at. Whoa, like that one right there, comes way out toward the viewer, right? And then other branches and boughs recede back. So it's an extremely three-dimensional, I know that's kind of silly to even put it that way, but it's an extremely three-dimensional subject matter that we, the artists, are trying to reduce to 2 dimensions. And again, if you don't think that's hard, it's because you're not trying. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I hope, first of all, I hope to get better at it today. That's the reason I'm here. This is called doing a study, right? I hope to get, I'm sorry for all the jerking, the way the phone works. I'm so sorry. I want to fill up as much as of the canvas, of the screen with the canvas. Okay, the reason I'm here is to get better. So I know some things about drawing trees. At the end of the day, I hope to know more about drawing or painting trees. And I'm pretty much going to do it in my technique. A little bit of easy stuff, right? Get started. We've got a ring of stones around the tree, and there's some flowers right at the base of the tree that are all dried up. Okay, so that gets us up to about here. The easy part is finished. Okay, now, at some point today, I'm going to be drawing fairly carefully each and every branch. But this is not that time. This is not the time for drawing each and every branch. So, of course, you can do this with one hand. It just takes twice as long. So why would you? Okay. Why would you do it with one hand, that is to say? If you've got 2, the Lord gave you 2 hands, use them. Every piano player uses 2 hands and does not consider themselves abused. Like all guitar drummers and good athletes. Okay. Do I want the trunk over that far? Yeah, I think I do. It's a little extreme to put it this far over. You know, this would be bad. And it's a little, but I think it gives the composition a little bit of dynamic. Now, if I do that, I might actually include the house, except set the house back quite a bit. Maybe. We'll see. Do I want the house? We'll decide later. If I do, it'll go there. Nah, I do not want that. Let me wipe that off. That was a quick decision, wasn't it? If I do want the house, I might put it down over here, even smaller and further away. Okay, and again, I'm not sure that I do. Beautiful day here in North Carolina. November 27th, I believe. Not my job to know the date. Let's do the trees, the tree line behind in the background. That is way too green, but I'll fix it later. Let me give you, I should probably do an entire outline of how to paint trees. I'll give you the rough version. I've never written that down. I probably should do that. That'll be one of the paint tech sidebars in my painting, in my book, Breakable Laws of Painting. I'll do 1 page on how to paint trees. And I'm not sure I've got this in the right order, but I might. I'll tell you that the number one, I believe probably the number one principle. Now this does not apply to watercolor painting at all, sorry. Well, anyway, it does, but it applies in very different ways. The number one principle for painting a pine tree, for painting a tree in oil or acrylics is layers, layers, layers. Step by step by step. One-ly, two-ly, three-ly, as an old professor of mine used to say. One-ly, two-ly, three-ly. And that might not sound very radical, but evidently it is counter to the way many students think. Because I see way too many students' paintings of trees where they tried to eat the whole thing in one bite. methods to try to render the whole tree tons and tons of tongue painting all at once. Now, let me quickly say, yep, that is the way, at least as far as I can tell, that is the way Bob Timberlake does it. And again, I like Bob Timberlake's stuff, but if you want to paint like Bob Timberlake, some of you have no idea who I'm talking about, and that's all right. But if you want to paint like Bob Timberlake, then you're watching the wrong channel right now. He had a style. It's called tight, anal retentive, obsessive, pretty, but you don't want to paint like Bob Timberlake. So, number one rule is paint layers and layers and layers. And that's number one thing that you're going to see me do here. I've been saying for years. So that's point number one. Point number two, I'll need to come up with a better way to say it, but it's something like this. You don't paint a tree by painting one branch at a time. I call those stick-y or stick-ish trees. You do not want stick-ish trees. I've talked about this quite a bit over the years. And if you want to know what, I'll be really mean, nasty, and honest here for a second. If you want to know what stick-y trees are, just Google the word landscape and hit image, and about one-third of the paintings that come up, landscape painting, landscape painting, and hit image, and half of the images that come up will have trees. And a sticky tree is real easy to spot. It has about anywhere from 15 to 150 branches painted, tongue painted, one branch at a time. You can tell that the branches were done like this. Behold the tongue. Are you getting this? That's why usually at the most there's only 150 branches, because after sticking out your tongue 150 times, you're exhausted. You go, oh, good grief, surely that's close enough. And I like to say this to my students, so how many branches do you suppose are literally on that tree that you put, let's say 150. I've seen as few as 15. How many branches do you really suppose are on there? And they go, I don't know, and I usually say, try 150,000. You missed the reality by 1,000-fold. What percent? That's a 10. That's like 100,000% error. Error times 100,000. Anyway, so one of the ways you avoid stick-y trees is don't paint one branch at a time. I'll talk more about how to do that later. Okay, is this dry? This might be a good place for me to pause. I want this to dry for a few minutes, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks so much for watching. Now let me see if anybody's left any comments. First of all, I'll turn the camera around so you can see me. Any comments? Thank you, 14 people, for watching, and thank you for 5 thumbs up. Doesn't look like there's any comments I need to respond to. Oh, there we go. What? 5 minutes into the painting, it's too early for branches. Hello, Heather. For you newcomers, I just want you to know, you've been missing the party. I have a whole bunch of smart aleck friends that are regulars, and we have inside jokes here. So, thank you, Heather. Yes, too early for branches. Never sling paint. Heather, that's so funny you said that, because that's exactly what I was thinking when I was slinging paint. I wonder if I'm slinging paint on my van. If I did, it wasn't the first time. Hello, Ilko Brunsma. Great work again. Thank you very much. You must be from the Netherlands too. One of my Dutch friends, is that right? I mean, obviously Dutch, but whether you live there still or not. So happy when I see you live. Thank you, that old biddy. Appreciate it. Great name. Hello, Toby. Welcome back again. Yes, it is my van, Heather, and it's already got paint on it. Okay, thanks so much. I'm going to let that painting dry. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks so much for watching.